Zachary Keomysay, better known as Keymo, left his childhood home in Nebraska, chasing a dream in Los Angeles. While his vision of dancing on the big screen didn't unfold as planned, the journey led him to something even more powerful: storytelling. Drawing from his ancient roots in Laos and his upbringing on the Great Plains of America, Keymo weaves purpose and identity into every story, creating scenes rich with memory, meaning, and nostalgia.
Hell yeah. What's up, everyone? My name is Keymo. This is Jeff here, Laura, and Giselle, and we're 30 in the morning.
Hey, man, how you doing?
What's up, ID?
ID. I'm Co. That's John, and you are?
I'm Keymo. Yeah,
Keymo.
my full name is Zachary Keomysay, but Keymo is a nickname. Yeah.
How you spell the Keymo? Chemo or Kemo?
I do Keymo because my last name Keomysay is Keomysay, but for some reason growing up people couldn't read it properly, so they always say Keomysay. So
Keymo, Kei, Kemo. All right.
Keym. How you doing?
But Zachary, huh?
Zachary's the first name, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's too many Laotian Zacharys, man. That's a first for me.
I have a funny story. I was telling my friend that I was jumping on this podcast, and he's from Illinois, Joliet.
Okay.
And he says, "Oh yeah, that guy's my best friend's uncle." So Tony, is Tony your nephew?
Best friend's yeah, Tony is my nephew. That's my sister's kid.
My good friend out here in Los Angeles, his name is Joy Buttigieg, I think pronouncing
He's
right.
friends with Tony? Okay.
He's like best friends with Tony, grew up with him in Illinois, but he says to say what's up. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
What's up, John?
Hey, man, how you doing?
So good. How's the jet lag?
Good, I'm getting there. I think today I finally broke it. I forced myself to stay up yesterday because we were having Christmas and all that. And but I've only been back like 3 days or something. So, but it was a good trip.
Yeah, you're a warrior. I was following you the whole trip, and thank you for posting all those photos. I'm a huge. I wore this for you. This is my favorite Sea Games jacket that I have.
So you were at the Sea Games too? That's how you guys connected?
No. I'm just a fan of Lao everything, and I started watching the Sea Games with my father because he told me about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, Laos competes in this thing, kind of like the Olympics." I was like, "Really?" Just got really into it. So every year I'll just follow the Sea Games, and this one is special because it was in 2009 when they did it in Vientiane. So I was like, I'm a big memorabilia guy. So whenever I can find something Lao or whatever, I'm gonna buy it. And somehow, some way, I was able to find this track jacket from the 2009 Sea Games. I was like, I gotta have it. So it's really special.
Years ago, I believe in the late 80s or early 90s, they used to have bodybuilding in the Sea Games. Because how I found out about that is one of my best friends, he's Thai, he's half Thai. His dad was German. He was telling me he wanted to go do the Sea Games. Like, wow, it's changed. It changed. Like, it used to be, bodybuilding used to be like international, worldwide.
Yeah.
It was, and they used to have the World Games, and it was bodybuilding. And the Sea Games, they had bodybuilding. He wanted to represent Thailand. And I was like, man, I wish I could represent Laos, for that. I would have been, but that's years ago. And
that would have been sick, man. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. I mean, the wrestler, Dawson Sihavong, brought home 2 bronze medals, Greco and freestyle. We were very close in swimming.
I saw that.
Both my daughter and then Steven. Steven was literally like when I say a fraction of a second, I mean a fraction of a second, like 0.3 seconds off from the bronze. And the whole field was within this like window. I think the next guy ahead of him was like 0.02 or something. That's just swimming. It was basically however you touch the wall.
Now, is that it for him, or is that it for your daughter? What's going on?
My daughter's still in college, so she's got to keep going here. She's got to jump right back in and train for college.
No, for the Sea Games. For the
probably, Sea Games. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the next one's in 2 years, so we'll see where she's at.
Yeah.
But that was a good time. Overall, the baseball was awesome. We had our 2 players there.
I saw that. It's
They
so
do
so
well.
cool to see people representing the Lao national team and from the States. And I'm just a huge fan of seeing that and huge fan
Yeah.
of what y'all do. Just like I've been following you guys for a long time, and how this came about is like
How old are you, Keymo?
I'm
How old are you?
30, I'm 38.
38. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like my mind feels like I'm like 25, but my
Yeah.
body, yeah, yeah,
Me,
yeah.
me too, man.
No.
But yeah, I wish we get that younger audience to follow and like to get, because for a long time it was a dry spell. People didn't really follow it, and it's amazing how much we're getting a younger demographic following us, and like, yes, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to inspire that next, the next generation.
Yeah, no, I will always support Lao athletes. I think, the first guy was the running back. I forget, Scott. Did he
Oh,
go to
Yeah,
Drake?
come on. Scott.
Yeah,
yeah, he went
yeah.
to Drake. Yeah.
Yeah. We had
There
him
was
on we had him on early.
yeah, he was like a legend around the community where I grew up just because like, you never heard about that. My uncles, we grew up in a um I want to say athletic family, but we love sports.
Right.
So hearing about a Lao guy playing running back in college, I was like, what? How? So
Well,
yeah,
a lot of people,
I've been following this Lao sports thing for a long time, so I'm excited to chat with you guys.
a lot of people love sports. It is like the gambling side of it.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, we're
Let's
changing that.
participate, guys. Let's participate. Start off. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of C4 Podcast, Southeast Asian Athlete Achievement Through Adversity. My name is Coach Andetka. I'm here with my co-host John Messina, and in a little bit I'll have John introduce our guest. But if you guys haven't already, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Visit our website, Lao-American-sports.com, and give us a follow, give us a like, comment. If you guys know of anyone that would be a great guest to be on the show, please message us on Facebook and let us know, because we're always looking, we're looking for people to come on and share their stories. This is what it's all about, just sharing our stories, and a lot of people, a lot of our guests that came on, people didn't know about, a bull rider, professional football player, we got some competitive bodybuilders on, and it's just like, we're out there, people. We're out there. It's just if you guys know of anyone, let us know so we could showcase them and let them tell their story. Because a lot of people, Laos, we don't hear too much about athletics. I grew up get an education, and athletics. When I said I wanted to be a bodybuilder, wasn't much support for me. But now, like, man, if a kid wants to play football, he's got some heroes to look up to. And wants to play baseball, he's going to have some people to look up to. And I wish I would have had a role model. Arnold Schwarzenegger was my role model, but according to my dad, it's like, well, Arnold's 6'4" and you're 5'2". So. But yeah, all right, man. Like I said, yeah, if you know anyone, please let us know, message us, and I'm gonna give it up to John, have him introduce our guest.
Yeah, so we're excited today to have Keymo. He's actually a filmmaker, so not the typical athlete, but he's telling an incredible story that relates to athlete, that relates to the Lao-American experience. I'm excited. He comes out of Nebraska. My wife grew up in Amarillo, Texas, so a similar vibe where the meatpacking plants and everybody kind of coming in for those jobs. Excited to hear about the background on that. We wanted to have him on because he's going to be promoting a really cool film that he's doing. And that's really what this podcast is all about. Co and I don't do it for ourselves. We're doing it for the community as well as the Hall of Fame. We've got, I think, over 10,000 followers. It's kind of hard to tell because you got multiple platforms. Some are duplicate, but we want to use this as a platform to inform everybody when really cool stuff is going on, like what Keymo is doing. So with that, Keymo, please introduce yourself. And then also, we always like to start at the beginning. Tell us about your family origins in Laos, coming over to the U.S. as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Zachary Keomysay, but I go by the nickname of Keymo. I'm sure a lot of Lao Americans, kids that grew up, the last name was really hard for their school teachers to pronounce. So a lot of people used to pronounce my last name Keomysay. But what's really funny is that like my uncle in college as well got the nickname Keymo. So it's just it just carried on. So there's a line of Keymos in my family, but I would say I'm the second Keymo in the family. But yeah, I grew up in Grand Island, Nebraska, born and raised. Yeah, and then was really into the arts, moved out to Los Angeles to professionally dance. Didn't work out too well with dance, and then started getting into music, and then into the creative field, making films, photography, and all that. So, yeah, happy to be here. So excited. Huge fan of what you guys do. Like I've been following you guys for a long time, and probably get annoyed seeing my Instagram name liking every video or photo you guys
Never
post.
get tired of that. Never get tired.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love it. So Grand Island, I mean, I've been there. It is literally in the middle of nowhere. It's not an
You've been
island.
there?
I've been there. There's no water, but it's an
No
island
way.
because it's like a city and corn for like 1,000 miles in every direction, right? Is what I
Yeah. Wait,
remember of it.
Where is it? Where is it? So our viewers would know, and
It's
me too. Like in relation to Omaha or
it's a couple hours, right? At least.
Yeah, well, from Omaha, it's a little south from there. Omaha's on the west side of Nebraska, but if you go a little bit more south, you'll hit Grand Island, like 2 hours. But we're like an hour away from Lincoln, the capital. So,
Okay.
I'm a huge Cornhusker. I bleed red. Go Big Red.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Nebraska fan. So, yeah. Wait, John, why were you in Grand Island? That's so interesting.
So I've been out that way for work several times. And then even
Wow.
one time we were coming back from Yellowstone to Illinois, and we passed through and we stopped there. We had some of the best sushi ever, believe it or not, at some place in
Really?
Grand Island. I just remember that. But what's the Lao community like there? Because I can't imagine it's huge, but I guess there is one, right?
Yeah, I mean, just um, very similar to a lot of immigrant families coming to the United States. There's a lot of meatpacking plants or factory jobs, so really easy to get easy work, jobs that people don't want to do, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, is actually has a pretty strong Lao community there, and then starting to grow with the immigrant communities as far as like the Somalians and all that. Like it's getting very diverse over there, which is really cool. But due to the easy work around the area, that's like kind of a hot spot for everyone to come. You know.
So you said you were born here. What about your parents? What year did they come over from Laos, or what do you know?
Yeah, it's my parents. So my dad was born in Vientiane.
Okay.
My mom is in Luang Prabang.
Wow.
So they met. Well, I won't go that far with my grandparents, but like my grandma's from Savannah Kate, and
Hey, I'm
my
from Savannah Gate. Wow.
yeah. Her maiden name is Tetmontry. So I don't know if you may know of anybody from with that last name.
Say that again.
Tetmontry, I guess you would say. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
THEP.
Tep. Okay, tep.
Tetmontry. Yeah, I'm gonna misspell it, but yeah, my grandfather, my father's father, was in the Royal Army as an engineer, and
Like,
then
I knew my dad, man.
yeah,
I wish my dad was around because he would, might know that name, but he was a colonel in the Lao Army, so I'm sure they crossed paths or knew each other. It's a small world, man. It was a small
I'm
world.
sure. Yeah, my grandpa was really sharp, and maybe due to being in the Royal Army, and just he was I don't want to say he was I know he was an engineer. I don't want to say anything wrong, but he was pretty successful in the army. And then my father, they went to the refugee camp in Thailand. I think it's called I wrote it down. Nong Khai.
Yeah.
Nongkai. Yeah.
Nong Khai, that refugee camp. My mom actually was there as well, but I think they knew of each other kind of in passing, but eventually came over around 79, 80. My dad was probably like 16 years old, ended up in New Mexico due to like sponsors and all that. Ended up in New Mexico. My mom ended up in Kansas. And then you know how the Lao community is. They speak and all that, and they find out that Grand Island, that area has easy work, and then the community just moves together. And then like a rich Lao community was started in Lao and Grand Island. So yeah, my mom and dad met and then had me. First, I'm the firstborn in the family, the oldest,
Okay.
second generation. So my experience was really interesting growing up that way in Grand Island.
Well, definitely love to hear more about that, your experience
Yeah.
going up there. So,
Yeah, that's
right.
cool. Well, so you started to go into your background growing up a little bit, the dancing and professional. Take us a little deeper into that, all the way
Yeah.
up until how you kind of got back into this filmmaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what type of dancing?
Oh, you teach yourself how to pop and lock and pop
Okay,
in,
breakdancing, breaking.
break and
Okay,
all that. So I was more towards the hip hop side of everything. But yeah, kind of the same story as all like Lao Americans growing up. It's like you pick up these hobbies when you're younger, but I was always creative growing up. I tried everything, sports, all that, music. Photography was really big for me growing up. My father always had a camera. I don't know what it was. He's not a professional photographer or anything like that, but he just did it as a hobby, which I loved.
yeah,
He
just
would
love capturing images.
yeah, just documenting everything. Maybe that is something with the coming to America and just like we need to capture this. And I think that art form of photography, just shooting because you love it, is kind of lost. But I was always into that. Was into music. I actually ended up going to a performing arts school after high school, and then came out to California. But don't want to jump too far ahead. But growing up for myself, it was interesting, and when we ended up in Grand Island, it's strange. I don't know if my grandfather did this on purpose, but he raised my family on a different side of the to town. So we're like on the northwest side of Grand Island, and then all past the train tracks was the south side, and that's where a lot of the Lao community ended up. So it became kind of this territory. It's like my family. I'm so privileged and lucky that I grew up this way. But I went to I was the only Lao kid at my high school, but then the public school, all the Lao kids ended up there. And and maybe things just kind of happened where the gang affiliations and all that stuff happened on the south side, where I was like lucky to be on the north side. So there's always this thing growing up where Zach was always too cool or too good for him to be with us. But at the Lao parties, we'd always meet up and it was all good. But it was just like this weird thing when I grew up. Yeah, so I grew up around a big white community. And I had kind of a identity crisis, not knowing what I was or who I
Oh,
was.
I went through the same
Yeah.
exact thing as you're saying. I was the only Asian kid in my school. People thought, I was stuck up, had my nose in the air. I totally hear you, brother. I really hear
Yeah, yeah, and it's tough. It's like I'm talking different with
you.
my white friends, my coaches, my teachers, and then I go home and I'm speaking broken Lao to my mom and dad, but I'm not that great at English as well. So it's this weird like, who am I? And
Yeah,
went through a lot of identity crisis growing up, but
yeah.
did a lot of things just to fit in, and I didn't like, but I just felt like that's what the kids did. So a lot of trial and error growing up, and being the firstborn to a immigrant family is tough because you're kind of the trial and error person. You're the kid that's just like, okay, we have this kid now. How do we raise it in America? And we're from Laos. So it was, I love my family so much and I'm so happy how I turned out, but it was not the easiest, of course.
I hear so much all the time. We hear about, kids coming over and not fitting in. I get that. But when you mention the identity, like that's not that there aren't that many of us, that. And because of you're like you're outcast from your own,
Yeah.
like, well, the whites don't want me, and my my fellow Laotians don't want me either, man. It was, yeah. And maybe that's why
Yeah.
I chose bodybuilding, because it was just such a individual. It was just something I could do on my own. I wanted to be in team sports, but I wasn't welcome. So I guess I'll do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, but yeah, I guess from there, I moved out. I was like, I knew I was so different in the way of like, I loved music, arts and all that. I was like, I need to get out of Grand Island because a lot of kids stay in my hometown. And I wish some of my friends are still back there, although from the Lao community. I'm like, if you would have just got out, I can't imagine what you would have done. And I'm so lucky that I was able to move at a young age, at 17, out of high school, and then got to experience like a bigger city. And I think and being able to travel, I was able to go around the world at a young age, and I think that really opens your eyes, right? And a lot of my friends, my fellow Lao community over there, just never left, and they just got used to what the culture in Grand Island is, and there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of voices that haven't been heard. So, I wish they would have been able to do what they wanted to do.
It's just like safety in numbers. That's what it's just they felt safe. They felt home there. They don't want to leave it. But dreamers, we got to take chances. That's the bottom line. We got to take a chance.
Yeah, and nothing against Grand Island, right? I mean, for like the first generation, it was a great place because the housing's affordable, the jobs were plentiful, right? They paid well. You know what I mean? But then the young people, the opportunity's limited. To go, it's just a small town, and meat packing and probably a few other industries drive it, right? And there ain't much else beyond that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like my sister. I have a younger sister. She's expecting, and she's 30 something, a school teacher in the town, and I think she's gonna stay in Grand Island, and she's happy with it. But I'm like, I want to get my mom and dad out. I'm like, but going back to them fleeing the country, this is the dream for them. This is, what else do you need? They're so happy that they were able to have a home. Yeah. So I can't force them to do anything, but I'm like, there's more out there, but they're happy with what they got because that's already a dream for them. So I can't,
Yeah. Well, cool.
But yeah, I guess, sorry, I'm just rambling, but
go ahead.
Came out to Los Angeles, did the dance thing, and then found out that I'm just not the best dancer compared to all these kids that got professional training their whole life, and I kind of retired from that, but was lucky enough with my dance career to start getting into artist development, working with the Japanese and Korean pop scene, the music industry. So I was working in there for a long time, putting groups together, training them. And then I did that for a long time. My last project was a couple years ago, and I had a bad experience with it. I've actually never talked about this, so this is kind of therapeutic, but I thought it was like my dream job, putting together a popular girl group, a K-pop group. And I was like, okay, if I can do this, then I'm going to be set. I'm going to money and all this, and people are going to know me, all that. And I just kind of got burnt out and kind of lost myself. And I can't believe I was making probably the most money I've ever made in my life. And I thought that was it. And it just wasn't enough. It wasn't good. It wasn't like, this wasn't it for me, So I respectfully bowed out of that project and went back into stage production and all that. So my 9 to 5, I am an experiential events producer. So I do a lot of stuff for like Lululemon and Google and all that, which pays the bills. But that creative side to me was still there. So myself and another fellow Lao-American, Jeffrey Ratanong, we started doing stuff together just as passion projects. And then we started to take it a little bit more serious. And it was like, let's start a little group, a company, and just to see what happens with it. And that's where I'm at right now, just creating for the love and the passion. And then if monetary gains come with it, awesome. If not, all good. I think you have to keep your passions, the expectations of your passions low, because if you start depending on it, on money, you're going to start to hate it, So right now, just filmmaking, photography, all that's a passion. And this new project that we have, I feel, is really special. And I think it's a story that people need to hear and be told. So
it's called, your group is called 30 in the morning.
30 in the morning.
What's the name mean? How'd you come up with that?
Yeah. My creative partner, Jeffrey, a lot of our style is very nostalgic. We take a lot of our experiences from the past and try to recreate those memories and those feelings, just like getting home and you smell the sticky rice over the stove, and you can just smell it, and like that feeling. How do we recreate that, or the visual that you get with it? So we really strive for those kind of that imagery. Jeffrey always, when he was going to school, it was like clockwork. He would turn on the radio every morning with his mom, and every time it would be the news person or the weatherman, and saying like, it's 30 degrees in the morning, it's 40 degrees in the morning. So it became like a little, like a nostalgic thing. So when he brought that to the table and it's like 30 in the morning, I was like, I love that, because people are going to ask what it's about, but there's a deeper meaning to it. It's just a name, but it's a nostalgic, like if he were to hear 30 in the morning, it's like, oh, him going to school, that reminds him of that. So
He's
Yeah,
definitely
very.
not from California then, because I spent most of my life there and we didn't have a lot of 30 in the morning.
No, he's from Atlanta. Yeah,
Oh,
Georgia.
mm,
Yeah. So yeah, we have 30 in the morning. We're four of us, three other partners in the team, and we've been doing a lot of passion projects, just kind of developing our portfolio. And like I said, like no expectations. We have a studio that we have in Los Angeles that we do a lot of our work and then also rent out. But then there was always a goal for us to do a short film. It's just like it was like a bucket list thing. It's like, oh, I'd
mhm,
love to do something with dialogue or all that. And then yeah, we got this script. It was just about a wrestler. We got the script from Jeffrey's old roommate, who's an aspiring writer, and the story was already amazing. It was about a wrestler cutting weight. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Whiplash. Have you seen Whiplash? It's the one with the drummer, Miles Teller's in it, I think, and he's
mm.
like trying to be the best drummer, and he has a coach that or a teacher that's just like drilling into him, like get better, stay on beat, da da da. Da. It's like so intense, but he's trying to prove to the teacher he's good enough. So kind of that vibe that I can compare the script to. But Jeffrey brought that script to me. He's like, this is a really great script, but I think it needs to be in a Lao-American story. I was like, oh, now we're like adding a whole nother world and layer to this film that is so deep. And then as we're playing around with the idea of the character Malcolm being Lao-American, second generation, things really started to unravel, and the storytelling just became so good because there's so many things in the Lao-American story that is very unique. So I don't know how to not give too much away, but the story, there's a lot of nuances in it that I want a Lao person to see the film, they're like, oh, that's a Lao moment right there. I don't want to blatantly be like, this is a Lao-American movie, and it's like it's very, if the imagery is going to look like a Lao family or like a Lao setting and all that, but maybe if you're not Lao or whatever, you might not know, but just little, it's cool. There's a lot of like Easter eggs for our Lao community that I want them to be like, oh, he understands, they understand, how it feels. And yeah, there's some cool moments that I think the Lao community will appreciate.
Yeah, man, I caught a glimpse of the trailer, man. I was like, when you said body dysmorphia, man, that was my whole life as
Oh, I
a
can't imagine, yeah.
bodybuilder. Just never good enough, never. I mean, it was bad enough but I had external, I had external from my family telling me you're never gonna make it, you're never good enough. So if they don't think I'm gonna be good enough, how am I ever good enough? I was like, and that was just ridiculous. Now I look back, I can finally look back at my career as like, holy cow, man, you look amazing. I kind of say that to myself. But at that time, you look like shit, man. You're never good enough. We got to be better because it's just so hard. More and more and more. I could never be proud. It had a lot to do with my, self-worth and self-confidence, man. But yeah, when I saw the body dysmorphia, yeah. When he puked, I got that. Because there were
Yeah.
so many nights I was doing that, man. So many days and nights that I was doing that.
Yeah, John sent me the trailer to your documentary, and I need to still watch it, but I'm like
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope you enjoy it, man. Watch it.
yeah.
Um,
There's a
yeah,
lot of things I know that I can take out of that to make this film even better, and yeah, I'm excited to watch that.
yeah, definitely. Let me know what you think about it.
Yeah, yeah. The body dysmorphia part, it's interesting. It's like growing up in Grand Island, I saw my friends that wrestled, and it's strange that they do this as it's normal in high school. Back, I was in school, I graduated in 2005, so I'm sure there's a lot more regulations now in wrestling, but back then it felt like, man, I was in like homeroom, and my buddy is sucking on Jolly Ranchers, and he's just like drooling into a cup, and the teacher's just like, oh, you got to meet today. Okay. And I'm like, this kid is just basically starving himself, but it's okay because it's you're competing tonight, you got to weigh in. So it's accepted and respect the sport 100%. But as a young person at that age, I'm like, nutrition and all that's probably the most important thing. But when we got the script with just the wrestler cutting weight and all that, and then the body dysmorphia part, a lot of people think body dysmorphia is physical for sure. It's like people like think there's something they're not, but bringing in the Lao-American side is kind of going back to my identity crisis of, am I Lao? Am I white? I'm not Lao enough. I'm not white enough. Where am I? So it's this mental game. This body dysmorphia is a mental thing. And, you're looking in the mirror and you're dressing in a way. I'm wearing Levi's or Wrangler or something. I'm like, is this me? But this is what my friends are wearing. This is what everybody wears. So it's like this whole identity and body dysmorphia thing. I was just like, yeah. So the film is very heady. It's going to be really, it's going to be very deep and emotional. So, yeah, I'm really excited for people to see this.
Yeah, I love the trailer, man. So I can definitely relate to that. So
yeah. We gotta. I think when it started getting legs as far as the film, this was always going to be a passion project, and I knew it was a strong script, and adding the Lao-American side to it, I was like, cool, we can actually like make an impact somehow. Just like this, people be like, go check this film, but we needed to find a Lao-American actor, and with a short film, you only have maybe 2-3 days. It's not that long. The film, we'll have an extended cut, I'm sure, but for the film festival circuit, it's probably gonna have to be like 12 minutes. So it's really short. But with that, there's not many Lao-American actors, teens, and it's funny how we came across our lead actor, Izaac. He was in a really big movie called Didi. And I didn't know his last name is Wang, and I didn't know he was Lao, but
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, through the community.
All right.
Through the community, they're like, do you know Izaac? I'm like, Izaac? He's like the kid from Didi. I was like, he's Lao? And I was like, okay. And he also does like voice work. He did Raya, The Last Dragon.
Wow.
So he's very successful, has a great resume, and got in touch with his mom. His mom is so sweet. Her name is Meng. So Lao. Feels like my cousin, like when we talked on the phone, I was like, oh, you're Lao. And I knew she was Lao, but when you start talking to somebody, they speak the same language, like the feeling and all that. And I was like, okay, this is special. Izaac has always wanted to get closer to his Lao side, or just share a little bit more about his Lao side, because everybody thinks he's only Chinese, so it's been a big, cool process with him. Once he said he was on board, I'm like, okay, this is huge. This is huge. This kid, we're actually seeing in real time a second generation Lao-American trying to get closer to his culture, so it was just like everything was falling in place. And yeah, having him on board and being part of this, I'm like, okay, automatically people are going to follow because he's part of it. Now we have the story, all that. It's working out so well, and I'm just excited for the community to have something like this. And like I said, I have no expectations with it. I'm not making any money off this. This is just a passion project, but I know that I need to tell this story. So it's just like, I'll be good. I'll do it, and then I feel like I was able to provide for my community. So
sometimes that's the best way, no expectations. I always say no expectations, no disappointments. And you just it's passionate. Yeah, you're enjoying that journey. Mm-hmm. Every day you're doing the work, and you're just loving it, and you're content. When we have expectations, I think the problem with my documentary was we had so many expectations, and when they didn't, when it didn't go as well as I wanted, it's been a disappointment.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's funny being in Los Angeles, and with my experience in like music and all that, I've been able to connect with a lot of people, but I just didn't. And what we're crowdfunding right now it's not a lot of money to a lot of people, and so we've had offers of like, oh yeah, let me be an angel investor into this, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, and I'm like, I want to do this with the community that really wants to do it. So we've had offers and all that, but I just want to seeing the support just through a crowdfunding campaign, just seeing people that I've just never thought would support. And it's so cool. It's so cool. And now the film's become bigger than what I thought. And originally a passion project, but now I feel like this is we need to do this for the community, the voice for the community. So it's been really exciting and very thrilling. Yeah, I believe in it so much. I really do. And of course, I'm biased, and everybody's going to say their film is the best and all that. It's not the best, but it's a story that needs to be told. And we don't have films like this for our Lao community. The closest one I was is like, have you seen The Betrayal, the
Yeah,
documentary?
yeah, betrayal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I don't know how that was done. I just think it was shot so beautifully, and the time capsule of like him being able to start recording when they got there to it was just like this is a Lao documentary. It felt so good. But yeah, that was a huge inspiration for sure.
That one was like literally filmed over decades. That was like a
Yeah.
long. You're playing the long game there, right?
And it
Yeah.
was just shot so raw and so gritty, and you can even see the grandmother or the mother. She was obviously younger when they started filming, and then seeing her age through it.
Yeah.
Then just seeing even the American influence on her, to see that through the documentary, I was like, wow, this is done so well. So, yeah, so much respect for those folks that put that together.
Yeah, that's really cool. We're starting to see more of these stories. I mean, we've been telling these stories on this podcast, and it started off talking about athletes, but then the cool part that everybody likes is the story behind everybody, because all of these people have a deep story that a lot of people could relate to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then even now, like Billy Soxota, the rodeo cowboy who we've had on here and featured, he just wrote his book, and now his life story is being turned into a movie. So it's just awesome to see these things coming and being preserved, right? Because you guys, Co obviously is born there. Keymo, you're 1 foot removed from Laos, but each generation it fades.
Yeah.
And these stories are what's going to carry it on, right? That thing. And even like this, it's not a Lao story per se. It's basically the story of a regular American wrestler, but with this undertone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Exactly.
it really cool. Yeah.
You get it, John. You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, when you're saying like I'm worried that I'm not going to know how to make Lao food. Like I'm so happy that there's these Instagram or these content creators that are teaching you how to make the laps and the aughts and all this stuff. Cause I'm like, I grew up on this, and I'm like, I gotta, yeah, it's funny as you get older, you start to lean more towards your culture, and maybe there's a little bit of guilt from me personally that I like kind of stepped away from my culture a little bit. And now I'm just like full on, like, again, everything Lao I buy, everything. If anything Lao pops up, I'm in it. I'm all about it. I support it. So, and I feel like the people need to know about our culture, and I'm so proud to be Lao. So.
And as a kid, I hated my last name. It was 15 letters.
Yeah.
And 12, my first name, put the pawn, that's 12. John Dulong, see, that's 15. I hated it. But now, as I'm older and wiser, I love it. I love my, I've had shirts where I put my last name on the back of them. And people always ask me, what is that? That's my last name,
Yeah. They're like, is that the full alphabet? It's almost like the 12 letters.
At 27, between my first and last name, 27.
Yeah, it's I've been doing this recently, and if anybody's listening out there, especially to the younger Lao generation, is to if somebody can't pronounce your last name, say it for them properly so they say it properly. And I was always a kid that was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, it's Keomysay, and I feel so guilty that I never corrected people on how to say my last name. And yeah, it's just like take a minute, take a beat. It's Keomysay.
Yeah.
And then just like from there, maybe it would have just like, okay, he might have corrected people, but you're just like allowing people to say your last name wrong. I'm like, oh man, Zach, you should have taken a chance and just not being so embarrassed of it, just told people,
Well, even my name Cole, my nickname Cole, it's just it's Cole, right? But it's just It's cold. You know, it's cold. I never says cold. Fine, it's cold.
Yeah.
Because it's written with a K, right?
Cold.
There's no letter that sort of has a combination
Right. It's like
GC,
a G,
GK sound, right?
K.
Yeah. It's the when yeah, my last name. I always like that G and K is
Yeah,
strange. It's hard for people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I
That
always say
makes
like
it.
gecko, the
That's what
beginning of
gives it its sound, though. That G and the K.
like geckos, like the word get. That's like the closest thing that I'm like gecko. Yeah, I always told
Yeah.
people like, it's like a G, but with a K. I
Because
don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
my sister, her husband name was Keo, right?
Mhm.
But you just get used to people saying it Keo,
Yeah.
but it's Dell, right?
Mhm.
Keo. It's like, okay.
Exactly. It's yeah, I want people to be proud of that. And it's like it's so beautiful. But kind of segueing on like why the film is called Puma. And I think you guys will get a kick out of this. I was really into big cats for a while, just like studying big cats. And the puma, like the mountain lion or cougar, is the most adaptive cat in the world. Big cat. So you can drop it in the desert, you can drop it in the forest or whatever. It's going to figure out how to survive.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, that's kind of like our character, um, Malcolm. He's kind of playing. What you're going to see is how he communicates with all the people in the film. He's talking differently to everybody, so he's adapting to
Hmm.
his surroundings. He just has to because it's that's just his his feeling, and who he is. But then when I was playing with the name Puma, I was like, there's Puma. Puma is Phoma. I know a lot of Puma Vongs, Puma, and I'm a huge college football fan. I'd heard of Tyson Pumachan. And Tyson was the quarterback at Clemson
Yeah.
and went
Yeah.
to, so I was just like, okay, let's play around with that. So Pumachan, so Malcolm's last name is Pumachan in the film, but it becomes Puma
Oh.
as a nickname.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a little Easter egg thing, but it'll get, so he, and they begin to just like they can't say it's just like myself and Co and all Lao-Americans or Laotians, just they can't say her last name, so they just go to a nickname. So so it's kind of like little things like that is like deeper meaning than what it is. And I just love that a puma was the most adaptive cat, because I feel like most of us that grew up in the States had to adapt to what their environment was, and just had to, that's how it worked, that's how we had to be.
Yeah, that's really cool. So where are you guys at in the filming process, and how can people kind of follow the progress and get involved and help?
Yeah, I was just pulling this up, John, and it's amazing. We have a goal of 21,000 for the campaign, and I just pulled it up, and we're only $400 away.
Oh, really?
From, we've got, it's like I said, it's been so cool to see the support from the community, and just friends of friends, and just believing in the story, strangers donating to
Yeah.
it. And the reason for this, and I'm this whole process, like I said, I want to make sure the people that are putting money into this, they're going to know the whole process. There's no funny business in this, as far as like what they're going to do. They're going to pocket it. I'm like, not at all. So breaking down the whole budget, transparent, going through the whole process. We're going back to Nebraska to film this, because I just think Nebraska's scenery and set, just like it needs to be seen. It's like you said, John, cornfields forever. And I've been in LA for a long time, and for some reason that cornfields is really pretty to me now, because I've seen the palm trees, I've seen all this the whole time, the ocean. I miss like the being able to see forever, and that is beautiful. But yeah, we're raising 21,000. The reason being is because Izaac is part of the SAG-AFTRA union, and for us to be able to do this, we have a cap of $20,000 for the whole production. So if we go any higher of the production, then it becomes a different tiered film, and that comes with a whole bunch of stuff where it's like, you got to pay this person this much, you got to have this. So we're trying to keep it on the lowest tier, because it's just a short film, but we're going to raise it to the level that we want it. We see it. And yeah, it's unbelievable. We're only $400, but with that being said, for people just like to keep supporting, there's still room for us to contribute. There's 14 days left in the campaign, which is amazing, but $20,000 is the most that we can spend on the production, but the remaining money that is contributed will go towards the festival circuit as far as flights and submissions and deferred payments and all that. So there is room for us to use the extra funds to be able to take care of the cast and crew even more. Yeah, my biggest dream, and I'll kind of leave it on this, is once this film is finished, I want to take this to Luang Prabang, and there is a film festival out there called Blue Chair, and it's cool. They call it Blue Chair because everybody sits in those plastic blue chairs, and they put films up there, and it'll be cool to share this side of a Lao story to them, because I'm sure it's very different, So I want to make that happen, and it will. I feel it. So,
Are those films typically in English though, in Luang Prabang, or are they mixed?
they're mixed. They're mixed. I know that, and so we are gonna have to find a translator to help us break this down, because my Lao is not good, and I can definitely not read or write. So, and how the Lao language is so unique, and there's not many words that explain things, right? So, or vice versa. We have words that the English language doesn't have. So it's always tough to get that across. But yeah.
Funny story. Me and John took an online learning Lao class. It's like eat the alphabet. That in itself was hard. I was like, God, like, oh, the gong, and all that. It's like, then to put the words together and spell it and then try to read it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, you were light years ahead of me, Co. I can't get the tones.
I had to start as a kid, but it was challenging. It was definitely challenging.
I still every time I speak to my grandmother, she laughs at me because there's like exactly, John. There's some tones and some words that it's like really hard for me to say. I don't know. It's like money is yun. I can't say the
yun.
It's like the ng. I'm like
NG,
every time I say it. Oh gosh. It's tough.
Well, we were just over there and my wife's all, be careful what you say. You just said something bad. I'm like, no, I didn't. Because some words are like slight tone and it changes it completely.
Yeah, we just released a video today with Izaac, and he's teaching Lao phrases and words. And we're laughing because it's like, and I'll keep this PG, but like koi and koi.
Like myself, yeah.
It was like, and then
koi,
koi,
koi and koi,
So it's like it's this weird, like I can hear it, but I'm sure to some people that aren't familiar with the Lao language, you're like, you're saying the same thing, but it's very tonal, and it's like all that. And it's funny.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that's awesome. We're really excited, Keymo, to follow this project, to get the word out. And so I guess after you get it out there, it's going to hit the film festival circuit. Is that kind of what is going to happen?
The plan is we would like to do the Q1 of 2026. So I didn't take into consideration the snow in Nebraska during that time. So we're just going to wait for a time that feels good for us to film, but we definitely want to do this in Q1. So hopefully in early March or something like that. But we do, we'll go out there. The Lao community is going to support us over there as far as locations and maybe extras and all that. So it's going to be really beautiful. But once we get that, we get everything edited, post-production, definitely get it out to the people that contributed and donated, but then we'll take that film and go do a festival circuit scene and just see how it goes. It's not, and for me, it's just like, I want people to see this and understand what the Lao story is, and also just share. But you'll see more about it.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. Well, Keymo, hey, we really appreciate you coming on. Co, anything else before we wrap up?
No, thank you guys for watching the episode, and remember, like, follow, and share. And if you know of anybody that would make a great guest, please message us.
Yeah. All right. And with that, we are out.
Thank you, guys.
The C4 podcast is brought to you by the Lao-American Sports Hall of Fame. Visit us on the web at laoamericansports.com celebrating the first, inspiring the next.